Love them or hate them, the cast of Vanderpump Rules always brings the drama. But one person has consistently raised the bar for charmingly evil behavior, leaving a trail of broken relationships and shattered emotion in their wake. We're not talking of James Kennedy, who's notorious for his disrespectful attitude towards women and frequent drunken outbursts. And oh no, it's not Tom Sandoval we're referring to. Even though he's a despicable human who cheated on his girlfriend with her best friend after 9 years of their relationship, he's not the one. The character we're talking about is Tom Schwartz, the low-key villain on Vanderpump Rules. In this video, we'll look at the moments that made Tom Schwartz the most hated character on Vanderpump Rules. Tom Schwartz is not someone that always comes to mind when we're thinking of the worst cast members, but he's definitely up there on the low-key monster scale. And that made him the worst. Tom Schwartz, also known as Schwartz or Bubba depending on who you ask, is considered somewhat of an OG in the Vanderpump world, even though he didn't start out as a full-time cast member back in 2013. Initially appearing as Katie Maloney, the main character and full-time cast member, significant other in Season 1, he later became a full-time cast member in 2014. And since his first appearance on the show, he's literally always been the worst. Tom Schwartz started out being very bad when, in Season 1, he opted to pour out an entire drink on a friend, fellow castmate, and BFF of his girlfriend, Stassi Schroeder's head, accompanied by a barrage of insults, including multiple uses of the B word. What's the reason behind this brazen action? He was apparently upset that Stassi was upset about her ex-boyfriend and fellow castmate, Jax Taylor, crashing her birthday party in Las Vegas uninvited. When Stassi calls out Jax for his lying ways, Schwartz jumps to his defense with the maturity and grace of a middle school bully. "Fuck you, Stassi," he says, because nothing screams adult like using that kind of language. And when she asks him to repeat it, he doubles down with a delightful, "Classy, Schwartz, classy." The cherry on top is when he pours his drink all over Stassi's head, not once, but twice, ruining her perfectly sequined 2013 dress. One thing we can all agree on about Schwartz is that he was never a good boyfriend or fiancé to Katie Maloney. To be honest, the entire cast is guilty in this regard, as all of them treated Katie poorly, often overlooking her opinions. But again, Tom, the supposed boyfriend, was the low-key worst offender, as he never defended her. This is evident in Season 2, when he took Sheena's side over Katie. Not only that, he also dumped his drink on her head after insulting her. As her friends dried her off, Katie lamented, "I have this relationship all wrong. This relationship is so effed up, man." Oh, how right she was. Schwartz later apologized, and they moved past the incident. Years later, when Andy Cohen revisited the incident on Watch What Happens Live, he asked Schwartz if he should apologize for pouring a drink on Katie's head. Schwartz said, "Well, it's still not enough, guy." He also openly allowed his friends to talk terribly to Katie, which is very weird. Like in Season 3, when Jax Taylor hurled abusive language and insults at her for allegedly motorboating some guy's dick, and Tom Schwartz does literally nothing to defend his girlfriend and later wife. In fact, he blamed her for the altercation and let Jax continue to berate her for entire scenes. This is typical loser behavior. At the beginning of Season 2, he also inserted himself into the fight between James Kennedy and Tom Sandoval, for no good reason other than being the worst. Schwartz was not in any way involved in the fight right from the beginning, which was about James Kennedy telling Tom Sandoval to go take a Honda Civic selfie. But he decided to involve himself anyway and escalated into a full-blown fight. As he's throwing air punches, he yells, "Come back here, you little bitch!" Like, what in the world was going on? The fight had nothing to do with them. He had no skin in the game. Schwartz also gave his longtime girlfriend, Katie, a ring on a string in Season 3, Episode 16. Despite her explicit plea to never receive one. This was a baffling move, and it's hard to believe he didn't do it intentionally. It seems like Vanderpump Rules viewers forgot that Schwartz is an admitted cheater. That's why he's been left off the hook for so long. He didn't just step out once, not that one would even be excusable. No, the man cheated multiple times. And these are just the affairs he admitted to the Bravo cameras. His dalliances have been the subject of storylines in both Seasons 3 and 6, to name a few. When Tom Schwartz was first accused of sleeping with a woman other than Katie in Las Vegas, he only admitted to making out with her. This was only after Jax exposed him, and knew it would be on the show. In Season 3, when Jax accidentally let Kristen see his texts about Tom's hookup with a girl in Vegas, Schwartz finds out and pulls Katie to a side to tell her that they only made out. Later, in Season 5, he got drunk in New Orleans, and Katie confronted him about the Vegas hookup. He appears to slip up and admit to more than just making out. But perhaps the worst trait is that he revealed he would never blame his friends for cheating. Like in Season 6, when Jax was caught cheating with Faith Stowers. Schwartz said, "I don't know anything, but even if I did, I wouldn't say anything." His behavior towards women in general is also concerning and disrespectful. He seems to take pleasure in belittling and mocking them. Like when he ridiculed Sheena Shea by calling her a bootleg Kardashian. He also referred to castmate Laura Kent as a bootleg housewife. He loves the word bootleg when it comes to addressing women. He also called Stassi a bitch more than once, and even mocked his own wife's haircut by calling her Karen. While Schwartz is viewed as non-confrontational by most viewers, he has no issue being confrontational and disrespectful towards women, which reveals a deeper issue of sexism and misogyny. All these are minimal considering what he did in Season 7, Episode 16. After Schwartz somehow ties the knot with Katie, against everyone's better judgment, they go on a cast trip to Mexico, and Schwartz gleefully tells his newlywed wife that he doesn't like the sound of her voice. Moving on, in Season 8, when Randall Emmett and Jax Taylor decide to play a prank and have police officers show up and arrest Tom Sandoval, Katie expresses her disapproval of the prank. She cited its insensitivity amidst widespread police brutality and violence against citizens, particularly black people. But how does her husband respond to Katie's valid opinion? By immediately telling her to shut up, of course. He continues by telling her that she's ruining a great moment and that he's never been more turned off in his life. He goes further by calling her a moron and an idiot. The fact that the other men in the group, who are not so good, had to intervene and tell him to stop shows that his behavior's over the top. Fast forward to 2022, specifically March, when Katie and Tom's divorce was announced. And Katie fans were thrilled. Schwartz posted an announcement on his Instagram about it, which essentially boils down to "Katie dumped me, and I'm so sad about it, I don't really get why she did, but I guess I can't blame her." However, you all in the comments could do me that favor. He even claimed that I'm not the victim, as if we didn't already know that. Despite all these terrible actions, it's safe to ask why Schwartz didn't get called out. That's infuriating. The reason for that was probably the fact that Tom Sandoval was just a bit worse, so Schwartz could hide and slither around in the shadows. For seasons, Schwartz has done the worst things, and a big part of why he was never taken to task was because he knew how to pivot the discussion quickly. Schwartz has managed to convince anyone who meets him that he's just a lovable, hapless guy who never intends to do anything hurtful or cruel, but makes innocent mistakes all the time. There you have it, the most hated character on Vanderpump Rules. What's your take on it? We'd love to know in the comments section. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one.